2 women, 1 baby, both claiming to be the mother. And his solution was so brutal that it revealed everything. King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, and the most famous story about him is the one where he threatened to cut a baby in half. Most people know the story, but almost nobody understands what actually happened, because it wasn't about the baby. It was never about the baby. It was about seeing through lies when everyone else is blind. And what Solomon understood about human nature in that moment is something you need to know right now. Because people lie to you every single day, and most of the time you believe them. So let's go back. About 3,000 years ago, Solomon just became king. Young, untested. Everyone's watching to see if he can actually lead, if he has what it takes, if he's really as wise as people say. And one day, 2 women come to him with a problem. They both live in the same house. They both just had babies, and one of the babies died in the night. Now they're both claiming the living baby is theirs. No witnesses, no evidence, no DNA tests, just 2 women. 2 stories, and Solomon has to figure out who's telling the truth. Think about that for a second. This is impossible. Both women are crying. Both are desperate. Both are absolutely certain the baby is theirs. How do you know who's lying? Most kings would have just flipped a coin, or given the baby to whoever seemed more believable, or whoever had more status, or whoever cried harder. But Solomon does something different, something nobody expects. He calls for a sword, and he says, "Fine. If you both claim the baby, cut it in half. Give each woman half." Problem solved. The room goes silent. Everyone's shocked. What kind of solution is that? That's not wisdom, that's insanity. You can't cut a baby in half. That would kill it. But Solomon doesn't care about their shock. He's watching, waiting, seeing how each woman reacts. The first woman, the one who's lying, she says, "Okay, fine. Cut it in half. If I can't have him, neither can she. That's fair." But the second woman, the real mother, she screams, "No, don't hurt the baby. Give him to her. I don't care if I lose him. Just don't hurt him. Please." And that's when Solomon knows. That's when everything becomes clear. He stops the guard, points to the second woman. "Give her the baby. She's the real mother." And everyone realizes what just happened. Solomon never intended to cut the baby in half. That was never the plan. It was a test. A brutal, shocking test that forced the truth to reveal itself. Because here's what Solomon understood. The real mother would rather lose her baby than see him die. The fake mother didn't actually care about the baby. She just didn't want the other woman to have him. One was motivated by love, the other by spite. And Solomon created a situation where they couldn't hide their true motivations anymore. That's not just wisdom, that's genius. Because most people try to find the truth by asking questions, by gathering evidence, by listening to stories. But liars are good at lying. They practice, they prepare. They can sound completely believable. So Solomon didn't try to figure out who was telling the truth. He created a situation where the truth revealed itself, where the real emotions, the real motivations, couldn't stay hidden. He said, "The purposes of a person's heart are deep waters, but one who has insight draws them out." That's what he did. He didn't ask, he drew it out. He created pressure. And under that pressure, people show you who they really are. Now, here's what most people miss about this story. They think it's about being clever, about having a smart solution to a hard problem. But it's deeper than that. Solomon understood that you can't trust what people say. You have to watch what they do, especially when the stakes are high. especially when they're under pressure. The lying woman said she loved the baby, but when it came down to it, she was willing to kill him just to spite the other woman. Her words said one thing, her actions revealed the truth. The real mother didn't need to prove anything. She didn't need to argue. She just showed who she was through what she was willing to sacrifice. And that's the lesson. Words are cheap. Actions reveal truth. And if you want to see who someone really is, watch what they do when it costs them something. Now let's bring this to your life. Because people are lying to you right now. Not necessarily with evil intent. But people present themselves in ways that aren't true. They say things they don't mean. They make promises they won't keep. And if you just listen to their words, you'll be fooled. You'll believe the lies. You'll trust people who shouldn't be trusted. You'll make decisions based on false information. But if you use Solomon's wisdom, if you watch what people do instead of just listening to what they say, everything becomes clear. Let's say someone tells you they care about you. They say all the right things. They make promises. They seem genuine. But when you actually need them, they're not there. They're busy. They have excuses. They disappear. Their words say they care. Their actions say they don't. And Solomon would tell you to believe the actions, because actions are truth. Words are just noise. Or, let's say you're hiring someone. They have a great resume. They interview well. They say they're hardworking, reliable, dedicated, but you give them a small task to test them, and they don't follow through, or they do it poorly, or they make excuses. Their words said one thing. Their actions revealed the truth. And if you ignore that, if you hire them anyway because you believed their words, you'll regret it. This is what Solomon did. He didn't believe anyone's words. He created a test that forced the truth to show itself. And you can do the same thing. Not by threatening to cut babies in half, but by paying attention. By creating small situations where people have to show you who they are instead of just telling you. Someone says they're your friend. Don't just believe them. See if they're there when things get hard. See if they celebrate your success or get jealous. See if they're consistent or only around when it benefits them. Someone says they love you. Watch if their actions match your words. Do they prioritize you? Do they sacrifice for you? Do they show up? Or do they just say pretty things and then do whatever they want? Someone says they're trustworthy in business. Give them a small opportunity. See how they handle it. Do they follow through? Do they communicate? Do they do what they said they'd do? Or do they disappear the moment it's inconvenient? This is Solomon's wisdom applied to real life. Don't be naive. Don't just trust words. Test people. Not maliciously. Not unfairly. Just pay attention to whether their actions match their claims. Because most people fail this test. Most people say things they don't mean. Make promises they don't keep. Present themselves in ways that aren't true. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it. You'll see the gap between their words and their actions. And that gap tells you everything you need to know. Here's another layer. Solomon's test wasn't just about finding the truth. It was about making the truth undeniable. Because even after he revealed who the real mother was, nobody could argue. The truth was obvious. The fake mother had revealed herself completely. You can do the same thing. When you suspect someone's lying, don't just call them out. Create a situation where they reveal themselves. Where the truth becomes obvious not just to you, but to everyone. Someone's taking credit for your work. Don't just complain. Document everything. Create a paper trail. Present evidence that makes the truth undeniable. Someone's lying about their abilities. Don't just argue. Give them a task that requires those abilities. Let them fail. Let their actions speak. This isn't being manipulative. This is being wise. This is protecting yourself from liars by forcing reality to reveal itself. Solomon could have just guessed, could have asked more questions, could have made a judgment call, but instead, he created a moment of truth, a situation where lying became impossible, where the real nature of each person had to show itself, and that's the skill you need to develop. Not mind reading, not perfect judgment, just the ability to create situations where truth reveals itself, where people show you who they are instead of just telling you. Because here's what Solomon knew. Most people are really good at seeming like something they're not. They've practiced, they believe their own lies. They can fool you easily if you're just listening to words. But actions don't lie. Under pressure, people reveal their true motivations, their real priorities, their actual character, and if you're watching, you'll see it. The fake mother revealed she didn't actually care about the baby, she just wanted to win. The real mother revealed she cared more about the baby's life than about being right. And Solomon saw it, not because he was magical, but because he understood human nature. And he created a test that forced that nature to reveal itself. This is why he was called the wisest man who ever lived. Not because he knew everything, but because he knew how to see through everything. How to find truth when everyone else saw confusion. How to make the complicated simple. 2 women, 1 baby, an impossible problem. And Solomon solved it not by being smart, but by understanding people better than they understood themselves. That's real wisdom, not intelligence, not knowledge, but insight into human nature, into what people are really made of beneath their words. And it's still available, still relevant, still waiting for you to use it, because people haven't changed. They still lie, they still hide, they still say one thing and do another. But if you watch, if you test, if you pay attention to actions instead of just words, you'll see the truth, just like Solomon did. The question is whether you're willing to look. Watch the next one to see what else they never told you about Solomon.